Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, so this weekend we have Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin in the rematch over in Gibraltar, of all places. It is what it is. I've given my prediction on this fight. I think Dillian Whyte's going to win the fight. However, Alexander Povetkin has beaten Dillian Whyte once with one punch. He can do so again. There are questions that need to be asked going into this fight. We'll find out on fight night, how is Dillian Whyte mentally? Has his punch resistance? I'd be very surprised if it hasn't. But has his punch resistance diminished a bit following that knockout? Because it was a devastating knockout. I mean, it was really, really bad. So his punch resistance took a knock after AJ. I imagine it's going to decrease further after this knockout. Just the nature of it, the violentness of the knockout. So we need to see how Dillian Whyte is in the ring. But I've already said that I feel he's going to win this rematch. I think he'll stop Povetkin. I think it'll be late enough, as in probably past 7 rounds. Because I think Dillian Whyte, even though he knows he can hurt Povetkin, I think he's going to be wary. I think he can give it all, this, that and the other, but I think he knows himself that, look, don't exchange with this guy up close unless you have a fairly dead guy in front of you, because he's dangerous. He's very dangerous up close. So I think Dillian Whyte's going to win this fight. There is a possibility he could lose, and we'll touch on that as well. But my question is, right, what is going to happen post-Povetkin? So say Dillian Whyte wins on Saturday. Where does he go from there? Who does he fight next? Because you would imagine Dillian Whyte is going to want to stay active. Because, put it like this, right? I think of it like this, actually. If Dillian Whyte had beat Alexander Povetkin back in August, right, we would be... Well, look, we don't know if we're going to get AJ Fury next, right? It's signed. We're waiting on an announcement. I reckon we're going to get it this Saturday. But it's not officially there yet. But had Dillian Whyte had beaten Alexander Povetkin back in August, we could be potentially waiting until next year for AJ versus Fury. Because let's we forget, Dillian Whyte was the mandatory challenger for Tyson Fury. That mandatory was due February of this year. Okay, obviously when he lost to Povetkin, it pushed it back, it reset, and I think it resets again if he wins. So it could potentially be next year before that mandatory is even called, right? And obviously the 2-fight deal with AJ Fury, that kind of hinders that. So with Dillian Whyte losing, that basically freed up AJ Fury. Because obviously Tyson Fury would have had to make a mandatory defense against Dillian Whyte if he'd beaten Povetkin. So we can look at it like that, actually, that it's a good thing in a way that Dillian Whyte did lose, because it means that we get the fight we want to see, we get undisputed potentially. So you look at it like that. But provided he wins this fight, he should be in line to get his mandatory shot at the BBC title next year. All right. But in the interim, is he going to stay active, or is he going to just sit on that mandatory until it's called? Now, I suspect Dillian Whyte will want to get out again. And I suspect that Dillian Whyte is very smart, right? As a businessman, as a manager, as someone who's managed his own career, he's very smart in what he's done. He's taken fights at the right time. He's been able to build himself up from the AJ loss all those years ago at British level. That was for a British title. He fought on Ricky Burns' undercard. I think he fought on Josh Warrington's undercard. Was able to just pick up the wins, go from domestic level, win a couple of, tricky titles with some of the sanctioned bodies to get himself up to a pay-per-view star, basically. Fights are on pay-per-view now. So he's managed his career very well. And you would imagine Dillian Whyte will look, provided he wins, will look at the situation and say, do you know what? I could have had this fight, this year for my WBC title shot. I didn't, I went into a fight, overlooked the guy, this, that and the other. I'm making that mistake again. Will he take easy touches if he fights again? I don't think so. I think that Dillian Whyte, the fight Eddie Hearn wants for Dillian Whyte, and I think the fight he definitely wants is Deontay Wilder, right? I could easily see the WBC potentially ordering that fight as maybe, maybe they'll do something, say, well, Wilder is, former champion, so he should get a crack at it. I don't know. You know what the WBC are. They'll figure something out, Obviously, I'm a bit more... I'm not going to go there. But basically, the WBC, I'm sure, will come up with something. Dillian Whyte has wanted to fight Wilder for years. I can't really see things going any other direction other than the fight with Deontay Wilder. Joseph Parker, Chisora, the winner of that seems like they want to go down the Usyk road. Eddie Hearn does anyway. Both those guys. I think he was saying he's going to try and get that as an eliminator to fight the winner of Usyk Joyce. I mean, where's that fight going to get announced? Actually, I'm waiting on that. But we'll have to wait and see with that. In terms of everything else, the top echelons of the heavyweight division, the top 10, realistically, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, that's the fight that I want to see. That's the fight I think Eddie Hearn wants to make. It's the fight Dillian Whyte wants to make. Dillian Whyte has always been very confident in his ability. You know, he's always said that he beats Deontay Wilder. I disagree with that statement. I think even now Deontay Wilder still wins, although it's more intriguing now seeing how Deontay Wilder's been post Fury than it was before. Like, put it like this: if these had fought in 2019, Deontay Wilder knocks Dillian Whyte into outer space in a couple of rounds. I couldn't see it any other way. We don't know what Wilder's going to be like coming back from the knockout loss. I would still pick him to beat Dillian Whyte even now, but I've never seen a fighter take a loss as bad as Deontay Wilder in all my years watching. But I've never seen anything like it. You don't know mentally how he's going to be if and when he comes back, you know. So if Deontay Wilder ends up fighting Dillian Whyte, and this is all just, you know, this is just me, you know, just thinking, you know, what I'd like to see. And, you know, Eddie Hearn's mentioned it as well, so you never know. Strange things have happened. But Deontay Wilder could be all over the place when he comes back. So him against Dillian Whyte now, that's just an interesting fight. You would imagine, though, that, like, Dillian Whyte, his punch resistance is obviously probably not where it needs to be. And Deontay Wilder, being an absolutely monstrous puncher, probably wouldn't need to land with full power in order to really seriously hurt Dillian Whyte. But it's still an intriguing fight because we just don't know where Deontay Wilder's going to be at. So that is a potential road he could go down if he wins. And I'm saying if he wins because we don't know. He's been knocked out before. It could happen again. If he was to lose this fight, now that's an interesting thought, because he definitely could. I mean, the man knocked you out with one punch. He could do it again. You made a mistake. You got a little bit too comfy. You stood in the pocket too long with someone who has shorter arms than you, has much tighter hooks and uppercuts, and you got knocked out with one shot. Could happen again very easily. If he loses this rematch, it's not the end necessarily, but it is the end of him on pay-per-view, I believe. I think that Dillian Whyte, it will be a long road back to rebuild for Dillian Whyte should he suffer another defeat to Alexander Povetkin. Right? For Povetkin, Jesus, you know, happy days. You could potentially get a crack at AJ Fury if you want to sit on that, although he's getting up there. There's so many reasons why I think Povetkin's going to lose this fight. But anyway, if he does win, you know, I'd be surprised. But if he does win, Dillian Whyte, it's a long road back to pay-per-view. You know, he would literally drop right down. He would have to be. He's not going to be back to being on people's undercards. You know, like, you know, Josh Warrington, Ricky Burns. No, but in terms of him headlining pay-per-views, no. In terms of him headlining Sky shows, potentially with the right opponent, yeah, definitely. Well, in fact, definitely he would. They'd probably match him with someone. You know, maybe they'd get Dave Allen later retirement, do a rematch, something like that. I don't know, but it would be a long road back. And if he loses again in similar fashion, or if he gets stopped again, I think then you've got to question how his chin is going to be at the elite level, at world level. If Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte had, when I say vulnerable, yeah, he looked vulnerable. He didn't look chinny. You know, this isn't like, you know, a David Price where, you know, you tap him, or like someone like a Seth Mitchell where you tap him on the chin and they're gone. No. But his chin, his punch resistance, I should say, definitely diminished post AJ. It will have diminished further post Povetkin, and should he lose this rematch in similar fashion, you would imagine that would be him in terms of his punch resistance pretty much finished. So, you know, it's really all on Dillian Whyte to win this fight. I think he will personally. I think there's just so many reasons why. Like, as I said before, that first fight, I don't know why. I mean, my intuition, I've read books on intuition. My intuition's always been very good. You know, whatever you want to say about it, whether you believe in intuition or not, I believe in it. I believe it's always been very good. It's been on point. I just had that feeling, you know, that he was going to lose. I didn't pick him to lose, but I had that feeling from the get-go. It was just like, something not right here. He's talking about this. He's not talking about Povetkin. I could just feel he was going to lose. And best believe, when that knockout happened, because it was so against the run of play. I mean, I jumped up out of my seat. I was like, what the, WTF? And I don't have that for this. I don't have that feeling for this fight. With this one, it's just a fair... It's put it like this. I feel for this fight the way I felt for Akali versus Glowacki the other night. Where it was just like, I can only see one outcome. And I will very much be surprised if it goes the other way. That's the way I feel about this fight. So that's why I'm talking a bit more so about what Dillian Whyte will do if and when he wins. Because I feel like he will. And I feel like he's not just going to sit on that mandatory status. You wouldn't be able to sit on it. I mean, I know Sky are putting on, mutton dressed as lamb as pay-per-view these days. But even then, I don't think Dillian Whyte could get away with it. I don't think Sky could get away with a post. Technically, it might not be on pay-per-view further, because we don't know what's going to happen with Sky and Eddie Hearn. So it could be on the zone from then on. But we'll wait and see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In terms of Dillian Whyte, I don't think Dillian Whyte is the kind of fighter who wants to take easy touches. He's not done that throughout his career. I don't think he would. Obviously the Marius Vac fight was short notice. That's fair enough. But he's never been one to take easy touches. He fights Lucas Brown straight into a Joseph Parker fight, straight into a Chisora fight. Then he goes and fights Oscar Rivas. He's never been one for taking easy touches, Dillian Whyte. And I don't think it will be the same whether he wins or not against Alexander Povetkin. I reckon he'll go into another fight against someone who's good quality, whether that be Deontay Wilder. I'd love to see it. I'd make Wilder favourite. I really would. I'd enjoy that. I think it'd be a great fight. It'd be intriguing. More so now than 2 years ago, because we don't know what way Dillian Whyte's going to be, but we definitely don't know what way Deontay Wilder's going to be. I mean, he could be a shell of himself. We just don't know. We've not seen him fight in over a year. We just don't know. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think the plan would be for Dillian Whyte? Should he win? And should he lose? So if he wins, who do you think he should fight and why? And if he loses, you like me thinking it's not the end necessarily, but it's a long road back to where you were. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, lads and lassies, if you could help me out, keep the guys up there happy, smash the like button, get the channel out. We get to 4K. We're nearly at 4K. We're only about 250 subs, less than 250 subs of 4K. You want to get there. We want to get there, lads. I want to get this channel to be something. So smash the like button. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Hashtag GMansRocks, all that good stuff. Happy Monday morning. I hope you all have a brilliant day and a brilliant week. I'll talk to you